You wouldn't know how many people book sessions to talk to me just to understand how they can talk to the people in their lives. Social anxiety is one of the most common issues that come up in therapy, and I've counseled many patients with this problem. So today, I'm opening the floor to the internet. People are often more open here than usual in their daily lives, and sometimes even in their therapy sessions. I've handpicked all questions from social anxiety threads on Reddit. I'm Jourdan Travers. I'm a licensed clinical psychotherapist, and I hope there's something in this video that you might be able to absorb into your life. So here we go. Question. I've had social anxiety for 8 years now, but only recently started realizing how much of it ties back to appearance. Growing up as a girl, so much focus was on being pretty and skinny and presentable. I developed an ED, felt invisible, and started believing I didn't deserve to be seen or speak up. Then, when I finally had a glow up, I didn't feel better, just anxious in a new way. So it seems like there's no escape from the fear of being perceived. So, what it sounds like is you have an unhealthy fixation on how we look because it's a societal trap. And the catch is that it doesn't matter whether you are good looking in their eyes or not, you will always feel like you're being evaluated. Most women will know what you're talking about here. If we start to live by other standards of beauty, we'll never feel enough. I always say that true freedom from appearance based social anxiety is not through body positivity, but body neutrality. A literal shift in your focus from your appearance to other aspects of your being that are valuable, like your personality, your intelligence, your kindness, your experiences, your physical strength, and so on. Body neutrality argues that your body is not an aesthetic object, but the miraculous vessel through which you get to experience life. As long as you feel able, healthy, and mobile, your appearance becomes a tertiary concern, and for a lot of people, a non issue. Next question. I pretty much never drink, as my mother is an alcoholic. I tend to stay away from alcohol, but when I do drink, it feels so free, and my social anxiety is just gone. It does sometimes worry me that I'll want to drink just to get rid of that anxiety, as that's the only thing that has worked so far. But that's yet to happen. Does anyone else find this? Okay, well, here's my answer. Alcohol is chemically designed to lower your inhibitions, so it's not a surprise that you feel freer and more open when you're socializing under the influence. However, for short term pleasure of feeling better in the moment, you forget the long term consequences that it could lead to. You could say things you don't mean, overshare, get blackout drunk, and lose last night's memory. Things that could lead to more social anxiety later on. And substance abuse can also be passed from parent to child. Research has shown that children with addicted parents are more likely to develop substance issues of their own. If your gut is telling you that this could become a bigger problem, listen to it. That voice is there for a reason. Next question. I'm 18 and have never really dated anyone before. I want to try online dating now that I'm legally allowed to, but I'm honestly terrified. The thought of making a dating profile is overwhelming, mostly because I'm scared that people from my city who know me will find it and make fun of me. I want to get over this fear, but I don't know how. Has anyone else dealt with this? Well, here's my answer. Entering the dating scene can be terrifying for anyone, let alone someone with social anxiety. Your fear of being spotted on the app and being ridiculed is being inflated by your social anxiety. Think about it. If they find you on the app, it's only because they are there too, probably for the same reason you are. There are essentially two ways you could deal with the fear. The first, you could continue using the app at your comfort level. You could take breaks, not put up your photographs until you feel more comfortable, and think of it like exposure therapy. Expose yourself to your fear in a controlled manner. Or, second, you could just get off the app entirely and try to meet people the old fashioned way by joining clubs and communities with like minded people and only approaching someone when you've established a platonic relationship with them. Next question. I, 24, male, have severe social anxiety, and I use masturbation as my coping mechanism. I've been told I'm a handsome guy, and I feel like a lot of people see so much potential in me, but are disappointed since I'm so in my shell, if that makes sense. I'm scared to be in a relationship because I know I'm not ready for one, and I feel like if I did get in one, I'd be very insecure. I hate this about myself, and I'm tired of being so socially awkward. I know a lot of it is me being in my head, but I can't get out of my head. Any advice? Well, I do have some advice. Firstly, it's great that you're self aware. Most people can't even tell if they're ready for a relationship or not when I ask them directly. Second, you need to decide if you want to get in a relationship because you want to or because you want to prove the naysayers wrong. And last, masturbation is a natural act. Whether you're using it as a healthy or an unhealthy coping mechanism can best be determined by a trained mental health professional. And I strongly advise against self diagnosing. What I'm seeing here is probably a case of shame from different aspects of your life feeding into one another. I think you should start by separating these problems from each other and tackling just one at a time. Disentangling these problems from one another to begin with could bring you so much relief. Next question. I have old friends I keep in touch with over text pretty regularly, and I love and care about them deeply. But when I actually see them in person, it's like I forget how to be a normal human. I start overthinking everything I say, constantly worrying about how I'm coming across. I can't fully relax or be present because in my mind, it's stuck on what should I say next or was that weird? Has anyone ever dealt with this? Well, yes, and my advice is this. Think hard about why texting as a mode of communication helps you be more authentic with your friends than in person meetups. Is it the fact that they can't see you? The fact that you can read your replies and edit them before sending? Is it that you can keep your phone aside and then pick it back up depending on your anxiety level? When you feel like you have an answer, try to build the same conditions in real life encounters. Pick a relaxed setting with a good view. Write down a few updates on your notes app beforehand. Try to be more present and deliberate with the way you engage in conversation, and excuse yourself when you need to take a moment. Everyone, no matter their level of anxiety, desires social interaction and emotional connection. We're mammals, aka we're social species. You just need to figure out your safe zones and work your way up from there. Next question. My whole day gets ruined when I think someone misunderstood me. I tried to explain myself, but sometimes it just feels like I'm making things worse. They've probably forgotten about it, but I keep replaying it in my head. Is that normal? My answer? Yes. This is a common rumination trap a lot of my patients struggle with as well. Being misunderstood or feeling unheard, especially from someone who is typically more reserved, could be a painful experience. So, yes, it's completely normal. The next step is to figure out how to keep it from taking over your life. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, could be a great option for you as it focuses on changing your actions by changing your thoughts. You can try exercises like cognitive reappraisal, where you reevaluate your perspective on a situation by looking at real life evidence to reassure yourself that things are never as bad as you think they are. You can also start journaling by joining our journal club at therapytips.org and get a new journal prompt handwritten by me every week in your inbox, along with some reading material and food for thought. Next question. How to raise self esteem. I think if I could raise it, then I wouldn't care so much about what others think about me and my social anxiety would lessen. I've done daily affirmations before and it helped, but I need something more. Well, to answer this question, I'll have to ask you one myself. Under what circumstances do you think your self esteem falls at its lowest? Around what kind of people, what kind of social context, doing what kind of activities? Raising your self esteem isn't an on off switch that you can just flip. Affirmations are a great starting point, but being mindful about your self esteem fluctuations and sitting with your feelings can make the affirmations take root deep into your psyche. Next question. I'm a 34-year-old male, and at my job, I've been offered my boss's role. This will be a good pay raise, and I know most of the job already. The only thing stopping me is that I'll have to run the morning meeting in front of the entire site every 10 days or so. I don't want the anxiety every time I have to present, and I don't want to have to attend all the extra meetings. Does anyone else have any experience like this? And what did you do? Well, this question is such a telling example of how social anxiety can take control of your life, so much so that it discourages you from progressing in your career. The trade off is painfully unfair. I encourage my patients to face their fears, no matter how debilitating, by taking baby steps under someone's supervision. Be transparent with your team about this reservation. You never know how your team might be able to come through for you. If you feel like the fortnightly presentation is your pain point, have someone prepare talking points. And you can also have someone who swoops in when you feel like you're trailing off. Know your stuff well and pick a person from your team to co present with you every meeting. This can be done in rotation. And this can help train people on the job, relieve some pressure off of you, and generally make the atmosphere much more collaborative. Next question. Does anyone else feel like the starter friend? The person who's good enough when someone is new or bored or lonely or going through something or there's no one better to be around. Eventually, when people become more secure and sense better opportunities on the horizon, they fly away and leave you in the dust. I have felt this way all throughout my life. Why bother when everyone leaves? Well, here's my answer. The rule of thumb I tell my patients to follow is that if you see a pattern repeat itself over and over again in your life, you might be doing something consciously or unconsciously to reinforce it. This can be tough to hear, but a lack of emotional depth is usually a two-way problem. Sooner or later, someone needs to roll up their sleeves and dive in wholeheartedly. Maybe consider the possibility that your social anxiety might be stopping you from showing up as you really are in your relationships. And isn't it possible that people leave because they couldn't connect with you, not because they didn't like you or found someone better? Next question. Whenever someone expresses their interest with me, I tend to get uncomfortable. When they confess or they implicitly give hints that they like me, I tend to distance myself from them. Maybe it's because I don't feel the same way. It's like I instantly hate them if I figured that they liked me. How do you deal with people who like you? Well, my answer, humans experience cognitive dissonance when things don't play out in life the way they play out in our heads. It's this gnawing sense of discomfort that craves resolution. I want you to think about it like this. When you don't expect anyone to like you and someone then develops feelings for you, it can feel disturbing because you feel blindsided like a deer in the headlights. So, how might one cope with that? By looking for reasons to hate them. The real question here is, why is it so difficult for you to see that you could be attractive to someone? Where did that feeling come from? If you have a similar concern in mind, I would definitely recommend speaking to a therapist to get to the root of this core belief. Well, that's the end of my list, but if your question wasn't featured, don't worry. You can leave your thoughts, feelings, and doubts in the comments below, and I'll try to give you the best advice that I can. And if you want to have a longer conversation, don't hesitate to book a session with me or one of the therapists on our team. Trust me, no matter how awkward it may feel, therapy is one of the best ways to manage all sorts of anxieties. And if you want more Q&A videos from me, please drop a like and hit the subscribe button. I love answering your questions. I'm Jourdan Travers. I'm the clinical director at Awake Therapy, and I'll see you next time. Bye.